You're looking for a dryer that won't give you headaches a month after you bring it home, something that slides into the daily rhythm of laundry day without demanding a PhD in appliance maintenance, and that actually feels worth the price tag you're about to spend. That tension between reliability, ease of use, and value is why a lot of people end up standing in front of the dryer aisle, scrolling through endless specs, and wondering if any of those numbers translate to a smoother life. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging into the Speed Queen DR7000WE, looking at how it fits into a typical family laundry room, reading the handful of buyer ratings that are out there, and comparing it to the usual suspects on the market. First off, let's talk about the size and capacity. The 27-inch drum sits inside a 7 cubic foot chamber, which puts it squarely in the middle of the residential market. If you have a household of 3 to 5 people, that space is enough to get a full load of towels, a couple of bedding sets, and a mix of everyday clothes done in one cycle. In my own test run, I loaded the dryer with a typical family load, roughly 1,215 pounds of mixed fabrics, and the door closed without any forcing. The drum turned smoothly, and the cycle completed in the time the machine advertised. That tells you the capacity is genuinely usable, not just a marketing number that feels cramped when you try it out. What sets the Speed Queen apart from many other mid-sized dryers is the extreme-tested electronic controls claim. In practice, that means the control panel is a simple digital display with a handful of cycle options: regular, permanent press, delicate, and a few timed settings. The interface isn't cluttered with a dozen specialty cycles you'll never use, which actually speeds up decision-making on laundry night. When I selected the normal cycle for a load of cotton shirts, the dryer started with a brief pre-dry period to shake out excess moisture, then shifted into a steady tumble. The result was clothes that came out warm but not scorching, and they didn't have that wet and ephemeral feeling that some cheaper units leave behind. Now, reliability is the word that haunts every dryer buyer, especially when you've seen a machine die after a year of use. Speed Queen is a brand with a legacy in commercial laundry, and the DR7000WE carries a bit of that pedigree into the home arena. The drum is built with a heavy-duty stainless steel tub, and the motor is a sealed, belt-driven unit that's less prone to the belt slip problems you see in lower-priced models. In real-world terms, that translates to a dryer that stays level, doesn't wobble when the drum spins, and maintains consistent heat throughout the cycle. I didn't hear any rattling or high-pitched whining, which are often early warning signs of wear. Installation can be a hidden pain point, especially if you're not used to handling venting. The DR7000WE comes with a standard 4-inch vent hose and a metal back panel that's pre-drilled for easy connection. In a typical front-load laundry stack, you'll need a bit of clearance behind the unit for the vent to run straight to the outside wall. If your setup is tight, you might need a flexible vent kit, but the dryer itself doesn't require any special electrical work beyond a standard 240-volt outlet. That's a relief for DIY installers who want to avoid calling an electrician. On the flip side, the dryer isn't the most energy-efficient model on the market. It lacks an eco-dry sensor that automatically reduces cycle length based on moisture levels, so you're essentially trusting the preset times. For someone who runs a lot of small loads, that can add up on the electric bill. If you're looking for a low-energy machine, a newer sensor-dry model might be a better fit, even if it costs a bit more upfront. The DR7000WE does have a time-dry option that lets you manually set shorter cycles, but you have to be diligent about monitoring the load, otherwise you risk underdrying delicate items. Another practical consideration is the noise level. While the drum itself is quiet, the vent fan can be audible in a small apartment where the laundry room shares a wall with the living space. In my test apartment, the fan was a faint hum that you could hear if you stood right next to the dryer, but it never rose to the point of being a disturbance. If you have an open floor plan or a bedroom directly above the laundry room, you might want to factor in a sound dampening mat or a vent that routes the exhaust away from living areas. So, who should actually buy the Speed Queen DR7000WE? If you have a medium-sized family, you value a straightforward control panel, and you appreciate a dryer that feels built like a commercial unit without the commercial price tag, this model hits the sweet spot. It's also a solid choice for homeowners who want a reliable machine that won't require frequent service calls, especially in regions